Welcome to the opening whistle of the weekly recess. Mitchell Lea, Connor VanDemark, Tommy Grant here with you. It's the opening of the Jersey Nerds Productions, this wonderful venture that we have going. We're going to talk about some NFL football. Week 1 and Week 2 in the books. Week 3 getting started. Guys, how are we doing?
Dude, you just hyped me up. I'm excited.
Let's do this. I'm enjoying this.
No, you're not. We're both Jets fans. We're not enjoying anything. Stop.
Hey, you
Stop.
guys had a solid first week, and it just went to shit.
Did we?
I was.
Yeah,
I was there.
Just stuttered over ourselves in disbelief the fact that you would even say that.
I was there for that game. That was like that was such a roller coaster of emotions. Just seeing. Literally, was it 94 seconds into the game, and Aaron Rodgers already out of the game, and seeing just like the emotional roller coaster of like the defense playing well, but also Zach Wilson sucking, and it was
could have been a lot worse though.
Oh yeah,
could have been a lot worse, and we'll return to that later. But I think that the first 2 weeks of the season. The story of the season has kind of been a lot of teams coming out looking a lot sloppier than we might expect. Injuries, whether it's Nick Chubb going down on Monday Night Football in week 2, Aaron Rodgers going down Monday Night Football again, week 1. Joe Burrow, he's been injured and it's lingered and it's clearly had an effect on his play. To the people that maybe we'd expect to be injured that aren't, like Tua Tagovailoa for the Dolphins.
I was about to say my beautiful Tua is still standing up, no concussions yet. I can't complain.
Injured, but he has been playing well so far for the 2-0 Dolphins, who probably in the driver's seat for the AFC East as far as things stand, not just. Well, the thing about the Dolphins that I would say at the very least is they went up against the Chargers who can't play defense. Like, they've just been atrocious. Brandon Staley fighting for his life out there. If they lose the Vikings in week 3, I think they might leave them on the tarmac in Minneapolis. And now they've got they get week 2 the Dolphins, and then week 2 the Patriots, then week 3 the Broncos. So not necessarily the strongest schedule. I want to see what they do against a team that can defend them and put up some points. Like Buffalo or Kansas City.
Yeah,
Buffalo,
they don't get that.
Kansas, Baltimore.
Yeah, they have a pretty, like, again, the Bills week 4 is the only one I can see in the first, 5 weeks of their season that's actually competitive for them.
And that's assuming Tua lasts that long.
Oh. As enough friends who had enough concussion history, it's once you have one, and that has to be the ones he had last year. Once you have another, it just gets even worse.
Yeah, you're a lot more likely to have it, and that's before you even mention the fact that he was injury prone beforehand. He had that major hip injury at Alabama that cost him his final season, and he's had all sorts of different stuff before the concussion issues came up. So it's not just the head, but when he's healthy, him, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they look good out there.
Tyreek Hill carried that team week 1.
Tyreek Hill after week 1, I would have said, is the MVP of the season. After week 2, I don't know. There hasn't been that one guy that's really taken over. Part of me wants to say Micah Parsons because he is just a Tasmanian devil running through New York.
Yes.
The Giants, just that first game and the second or the first half of the second game. Giants fans had to be thinking, well, we just paid Daniel Jones $140 million. Can we take Caleb Williams? And then the Cardinals' second half, they looked a lot better. And then Micah Parsons against the Jets. I mean, this dude's a one-man wrecking crew. And the Cowboys look good.
They do look good. I have been very impressed with their play. I know the Jets, Aaron Rodgers list last game, but still, like, they're getting pressure. Their coverage has been great. They haven't given anything. Like, the only person had to stop was Garrett Wilson, and he's just amazing in the first place. So
do I have to get to it now when it comes to the Jets? I feel like maybe we should just get this done and over with this conversation. Because as long as we're holding off, we know it's coming. We know it's going to be talked about.
Seeing as how I've known you your entire life, you can always talk about the Jets for hours. So whenever you want to start this rant, go for it.
I promise it won't be well.
And to all of our listeners out there who are not Jets fans, I apologize.
I don't want to say the season's done because I'm going to sound like a lunatic when I say this. I was encouraged by what I saw from Zach Wilson against Dallas. I liked what I saw against Dallas. I didn't like what I saw from the entire rest of the team. The defense was not at all the top 5 defense that we've become accustomed to seeing. They didn't get any pressure on Dallas whatsoever. To the point where it's kind of a clip that NFL Films used. CeeDee Lamb's talking to Dak Prescott like, "Hey, you've got all day to throw back there. You could make hot pockets or something. Like you've got all day." And that's not what I'm used to seeing from the Jets. The offensive line was terrible. Breece Hall got 4 carries. Meanwhile, Zach Wilson's trying his best to play in structure, not running around doing a bunch of crazy stuff, throwing the ball, damn near on the sidelines, and made some things happen when he was kept upright. It was in the fourth quarter when it was a 3-possession game when he started throwing a bunch of interceptions because he's like, you know what? It's a 3-possession game. I got to try to make something happen. And I can't really even blame him for that. So
no,
from the second half in Buffalo to what I saw in Dallas, it was kind of encouraging from his perspective because, I'm used to worse. It's definitely not what we thought coming into the year with Aaron Rodgers, but we're not winning that game even with Rodgers at quarterback the way they played against Dallas.
No.
It wouldn't have made a lick of difference.
I think we would have had a better chance, but
with the defense playing that way.
Yeah. Like it's just a needle. The odds maybe 5% to the Jets, but when your percentage chance in the first place is, would say 25%, then it's not really giving you a actual reason to deal with it. So I just pulled up the stats for this game. Mitchell, do you know the time of possession Dallas had in this game?
Oh, I've seen it. It's almost double what the Jets had, right?
Honestly, it's almost triple. It's almost a 3-to-1 ratio. 42 minutes for Dallas. That's insane. That's just that literally is.
That's
just
like saying,
owning another team.
That's like saying, hey, except for the 2-minute warning on in the second quarter, you're gonna have the ball for the first 3 quarters of the game. I mean, I don't care who you have at quarterback. You can't be productive that way. You're not going to win that way when the defense just gets to sit there and they're gassed, they're exhausted. It was rough. It was rough to watch, and everyone on the first takes and all these shows just kind of exposed themselves as not actually watching the game when they blame Zach Wilson for why they lost. When it was honestly, it was worse than that for the Jets because you kind of planned on Zach Wilson being bad. The things that you depend on being good to be in games were the things that let you down.
Who went down play 1?
No, play 4.
Play 4.
Come on, man. We got 3 beautiful well, one of those was a nice 20-yard Breece Hall. He came out the tunnel with the American flag, and I'm just like, oh
the hype
gosh.
was real. The hype was real.
I was thinking I might get Super Bowl tickets. This is oh my god. Oh,
Do we think
Why
that
isn't
there's
he? Why is it?
any chance of
Why
Aaron
isn't he
Rodgers
getting up?
coming back?
If they make
I
the playoffs,
saw-
but given what I saw on Sunday, there is a 0% chance the Jets make the playoffs. So I'd say, Aaron, take your time, make sure you're back in 2024, and let's do this thing right.
I will say though, the game next week against the Patriots, I think will be a decent measuring stick. Because I think the Patriots are a mediocre team. They're like middle of the pack. So if they beat them, and I'll say if they beat them, and let's say against the Broncos week 5, and they come out 3-3 out of the first 6 games, I'm okay with that. I think after that we have a chance. We have a chance because the rest of the schedule is not that daunting. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, you just got to get to the bye week and survive. And pretty much, I think it comes down to this game against the Patriots because every Jets quarterback that they take high since Sanchez did halfway decent against the Patriots in a lot of games. You know, everybody remembers the butt fumble, but he beat him in the playoffs. He beat him. He beat Belichick. He split with Belichick in 2009 and in 2010 in the regular season. But Darnold was horrible against the Pats, and Zach Wilson might have been even worse so far. So my expectations aren't high.
Was it like 8 in a row we lost to the Patriots?
No. It's so much worse. I think it's 14. We haven't beat them since 2015.
It's bad. It's bad.
I think it's either the longest losing streak to one opponent. I know the Broncos Chiefs is pretty that they haven't beat the Chiefs in quite some time either. It might be around the same length of time, but it's bad.
Yeah. Well,
So how much money are you gonna have to cash out to get Brady to come back in?
That's not happening.
nope.
One, it's not happening because, let's be honest, Brady was washed last year.
Yeah.
Brady said, I'm going to play until I suck, and he did exactly that. He saw that he was falling off, and he got the hell out of there. And I don't think that the Jets should know. And he doesn't want to come back. He
made that very clear, but I've just been reading so many articles of all these interviews of them asking Brady,
Stop reading articles,
are you coming back? Oh, I just think it's fucking hysterical.
The one quote unquote, it's not a conspiracy theory, but rumor, whatever you want to call it, is if the Vikings lose to the Chargers and they're 0-3, and Kirk Cousins is on an expiring contract, that I would like. That I would very much. Now, obviously, you're not keeping him because you have Aaron Rodgers. But for one season, I could get down with that. I don't think they do it.
So the thing I have concern, overall with the Jets, is I'm concerned with the O-line because at least
it's brutal.
Because Kirk Cousins is more of a pocket passer. How bad is he going to get killed back there, though?
Yeah,
because it could be another situation where Kirk Cousins is an older player as well. If he gets that bad hit and he goes down too, and he's out for 3-4 weeks, then there goes your whole gamble. So I'll give him credit if they make that ballsy decision, but you're playing with fire.
Jameis Winston could be fun just because
you're not the first person who told us to make.
I think Jameis Winston is currently the best backup in the NFL, and I just think that you get a lot of big plays and you get a lot of plays that make you go, "What the hell are you doing, man?"
Give me the crab legs, baby.
Like when he tries to when he fakes a pitch to the defense when he's running down the field. That's one of the funniest plays I've ever seen in the NFL. You guys have seen that play, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Where this guy just fakes a pitch and it works. He got an extra 3 yards because you just made the guy freeze. Is he actually gonna just give me the ball? I gotta be ready for it. It worked. That's the best part about it. So no, I'd love to see that, but no, for all intents and purposes, I do think the Jets season is over. Another season that I think is over is Cincinnati, and I hate to call it so soon, but if Burrow's hurt, And as we kind of saw with Rodgers, calf, if not, dealt with, treated, whatever you want, or just sometimes, even if it is, calf can lead to Achilles. And Burrow's been dealing with a calf for 2 months now. And it's still bothering him. Between that, the Monday Night Football game in week 2, the Steelers and the Browns, which I don't know how much you guys saw of that, but it was just
I had Red Zone on for both of for the Browns game. That was a rain game too, which was ugly.
Are you thinking about Bengals Browns? The week
Bengals
1?
Browns. Yeah.
That game as well. Both games the Browns have been like kind of a comedy of errors, but especially that Steelers Browns Monday night game in week 2.
Yeah, that one. Yep. Okay.
You don't have much faith that Watson really looks like the guy that they paid for at all.
Nope.
Now Chubb's hurt. You've got one of your best offensive linemen out for the season. The Steelers, Kenny Pickett looks horrible. That offense is just stuck in mud. The Bengals, if Burrow's hurt, what are you doing? You're not going anywhere with Jake Browning, who's never made a pass in an NFL game and has been in the NFL for 6 seasons.
Yeah.
But he's just never played. Is this the Ravens division?
Oh yeah. This is them. This is for them to walk away and uncontested, really. Like the Bengals schedule at least the Rams have been a big surprise. And the Bengals are playing them next at home. And that's going to be, to me, that's a good measuring stick for the Rams. They played the 49ers. They played them tough too.
I don't see the Bengals coming out strong on this game at all against the Rams.
I don't think so either, because I don't think Burrow plays. I think that they need to be cautious about this. I hate to be morbid, and I definitely don't want to predict injuries, but I think that if they try to keep Burrow in and make him play through this, I don't know if he makes it through the season, because the calves are nothing to mess with.
Yeah.
And Burrow isn't necessarily the most strong-armed quarterback, but his smarts and his pocket awareness, his ability to move and throw on the run is what makes him so great. But if he's got a calf injury and he can't move, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's nothing really there for him. And especially, another person you gave a large contract to just recently, you do need to protect your assets. And
from themselves sometimes too, because he wants to play.
Yeah, definitely. Because they have the Rams for week 3, then at Titans, and then the Cardinals. They should win.
This is the time to sit them then.
Yeah, and then they have the Seahawks, that's a team that I don't really have their vibe yet.
I can't figure them out either.
Yeah, they're a weird one.
Gino's been so, when he's on, but sometimes he just makes he nearly cost them the game against the Lions. He made a really dumb play at the end where he took a 20-yard loss on a sack that made it so that the Lions could force overtime with just a 10-yard gain. It was really bad. Yeah, I haven't quite figured them out yet either. And speaking of the Lions, that opening game against the Chiefs, it was a really fun game. It was a strange game though, because you felt like the Chiefs could have won that by 2 possessions if they just had Travis Kelce and Chris Jones on the field. Yes. Because at the end of the game, the Lions just, ground and pound. We're going to, move this ball down the field, take time off the clock, keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. And when Mahomes did get the ball, you had Kadarius Toney basically pitching it to the team.
Silver platter.
Yeah, that was I know Pro Football Focus came out with their grades that week, and it was the lowest graded game from a wide receiver in 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. That's what happened to drop the ball when he had 0 catches on 8 targets, if I'm recalling that correctly.
I think he had 1 catch on 7 targets, but that catch was a screen pass.
Yeah, that's right.
So he had a few where he dropped it and dropped it right into the opponent's hands into Brian Branch, and then another one where he just catches it there in field goal range. They win the game, but he dropped it. And you saw what happened. Travis Kelce, even though the Chiefs, I don't know how much. Did you guys catch any of the Chiefs game on against the Jaguars on Sunday?
That game I did not catch much of because since I watch Red Zone on Sundays, that game did not go to the red zone at all, or rarely. And the times that it did, it was a low scoring game. And the other thing too was like looking at the replays and stuff that like the Jaguars had their chances too. You had chances in the end zone by inches. You had the one with Zay Jones. I think he was trying to tiptoe into the end zone. And
there was
he had,
lots
like, 1 foot
of
out.
those. There was
Ridley had
lots
another
of,
one
right on the sideline. There was two with Zay Jones and one with Calvin Ridley where he almost gave himself a concussion running into the field goal post there.
Oh, yep. That's what it was. I was saying the Zay Jones was the back of the end zone.
That's right. And so the Chiefs kept him out of the red zone out of the end zone in the red zone on several occasions, but they only scored 17 points themselves. Kelce only had, I want to say, like 2 or 3 catches in that game. Although Chris Jones came back and had 2.5 sacks. Yeah. So he wasn't rusty at all. I want to open it up to you, Tommy, because we're talking about the Chiefs and how they didn't look like the Chiefs, I guess you can say. They got the win on the road against a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the Bengals and the injuries they have, the stuff going on with the Jets. We didn't even talk about how Josh Allen basically handed the game to the Jets in week 1 on Monday Night Football. Look, are the Dolphins the class of the AFC right now?
Look,
and if they are, do you expect that to stay that way?
I've been following the Jets religiously for the past 5 years now, and every year we get maybe 4 or 5 games into the season. I have my hopes up high, and then someone gets injured and goes down, and my hope just goes away, and I cry. I say, "Yep, that's the season." Past 2 seasons, it's been the same with Tua. I started off.
You're talking about Dolphins?
Yes, Dolphins.
You said the Jets, my friend.
No, yeah, I was Jets. Like, oh,
I'm talking about Dolphins.
Apologies. I mean, good Lord.
then say the Dolphins.
My Dolphins always just let me down.
Oh, you own them now. You are Stephen Ross. Welcome to the podcast.
They are the only team I care about when I watch. I have a few other teams I'll watch, but Dolphins are the only team I watch, hoping that they go all the way. And the past couple seasons, I get my hopes up, and it just crushes away once Tua gets that concussion. So I'm just waiting for it. He's had 2 great games. I'm just waiting for that game where he just goes down and doesn't come back. And
you sound like a Jets fan, if I'm being honest with you. You really sound like a Jets fan. I'm just waiting for it to go bad, and it's probably going to happen like right now.
I love the Dolphins, but it's just they're always mediocre. I just know they're consistently average. They haven't had a great season yet. Last season they did pretty good, but then again, Tua went down. They had those recovery weeks with the backup quarterbacks where they just kind of fucked up over and over and slowly brought themselves back up. But if Tua stays healthy,
the defense?
And Dolphins defense has always been what's carried them so long. Last season, their defense was phenomenal. This season, I'm not so sure on. I know the Chargers kind of gave them a run for their money. Pats, I think they redeemed themselves a little bit this past week, but still, I don't know what to say because I've put my hopes in them so many times, and I'm waiting for that week where it just goes really downhill. I'm hoping with how the Broncos have been playing, the Dolphins can pull off another win, but their defense just doesn't feel how it's felt the past couple seasons.
What about you, Connor? Who do you think the AFC... Because the Dolphins have really been the only team that you can look at so far and say, I don't have any issue. Maybe the Ravens, but I think
Ravens my pick.
But they've had so many injuries in the first 2 weeks, and Lamar in the first week didn't look great.
Like, I'm not surprised, no, because especially with them, remember, they have a new OC as well.
Yeah. Todd
It's
Monken.
Monken. And remember correctly, he was Kansas City's previous OC, right?
He was at Georgia. He was
That's
at
right, he was a
Georgia,
Georgia
and
guy.
then before that,
That's
he was
right.
Tampa Bay, which you might say Brady. No, because I think Arians called the plays when Brady was there, but he was
that's
Tampa
right.
Bay with Jameis, and they put up a lot of points. Jameis just threw the ball to the other team a lot, but they had a lot of explosive plays, and you've seen a little more of that from Lamar.
And like me personally, no, being a fantasy football head, like I've been high on was it Zay Flowers?
Zay Flowers, yeah, he's good.
Like them having an actual second receiving option that isn't injury prone like Rashad Bateman. And like I have Odell already tweaked something. But having him and Mark Andrews actually as options for him, and like the one thing that hurts with them is not having J.K. Dobbins. But because the fact that Lamar can still run, they still have three options with Gus the Bus, and then you have Hill. But overall, like I think there's the thing that I like the Ravens the most is their defense is still good. No, that's something they've always been proud of, and even way back when the Ray Lewis days. But like even then, like they're not I won't consider them a explosive defense in my opinion, but they get the job done.
I think fully healthy, they're an explosive defense. The problem is the Ravens have had a lot of issues staying healthy. I mean, Marcus Williams might be out for the season. He's one of the best safeties in the league. Marlon Humphrey's been in and out of the lineup the last year, 2 years. Roquan Smith's been a great addition for them, and I keep waiting on the pass rush to reach its potential because I like Odafe Owe coming out of Penn State, and I like David Ojabo coming out of Michigan, even though he had a torn Achilles. They also haven't. They got Houston in the first week, and they got a hobbled Joe Burrow in the second week, and they let the Bengals back into that game because Burrow was able to make some plays to T. Higgins in that one. And then in week 3, they play the Colts. So they kind of have a weak start to their schedule. Much like Miami, I want to see how they do against some more well-rounded teams.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, concerning their health. No, let's ignore J.K. Dobbins because he's out for us this season. God rest his soul.
He's not dead.
I know he's not dead, but still, like
he's dead to the
fans. He had an ACL, and then he tore his Achilles. It's going to be very tough for him.
His career could be done. Like I feel bad for the guy. Like I know one of the big conversations, especially with the Colts running back,
John Taylor.
Taylor, thank you.
Pay your backs.
I know I get why they're not paying him because of the fact that they are so injury prone. But at the same time, I don't blame the players for holding out because get your money. Like, because you don't get it now.
I hate to be the I get both sides guy, but I get both sides of this one because if you're an owner and you look back at the teams that have paid a lot of money to running backs, did the Panthers really get their money's worth out of Christian McCaffrey? No. As soon as they paid him, he missed like the next 2 seasons. Saints for Alvin Kamara, maybe. But, I mean, they're still paying him, and he wasn't very good last year, and he's missed the first bit of this season. Who knows how he'll do? Cowboys with Zeke. As soon as they paid him, washed. And they went to Tony Pollard. So, but I also get it from the running backs perspective. It's one of those where you almost want to have the running backs come out and start out with their second contract.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely
and then like you get your rookie contract type of deal because it's a position where you don't get to kind of grow into your role. Like a lot of other positions, like tight ends, they might not be productive for 3 years, and then they really like Travis Kelce. What did he do in his rookie year? Not much. Running backs, you have to hit the ground running. No pun intended.
And because of that too, is that you're having so much pressure on you, and it's such a high injury prone position that when it comes down to it, how the CBA is currently worked out, you have to you have to try to save your body and try to get that contract sooner rather than later. But it's kind of hard to think because they are in terms of position players, every team has 3 running backs on their roster, and in the larger scheme of thing, when let's say the next CBA is due to come up for the NFL and the NFL Players Association, will the union actually support a better rookie deal for them than try to push it forward? And once they try to do that, the owners are going to fight back against that because to them, they're going to lose more money in the long term for that. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, don't blame J.K. Dobbins for trying to get that bag, man. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We've been seeing it a lot this year with running backs getting hurt, as we saw with Chubb on Monday Night Football. That was rough. And he already had a really bad injury in college where he dislocated his knee and he tore his MCL. Same knee. So when people say like Nick Chubb might have played his last down in the NFL, like I hate to say it because I really think that he was a top 2 or 3 running back in the NFL at the time that he got hurt. But that's the NFL. Unfortunately, it's a violent game, and
you're just one injury away from going down. Hopefully,
and that's why these guys want to get paid, because you are one injury, especially at the running back position where you're getting hit on every single play.
Yeah,
you're either running the ball, or sometimes you'll go out on a route, you don't catch or you're not targeted. And other times you are pass protecting. And a lot of times for a running back, pass protecting is just, let me be a shield for the quarterback and use my body and just like take this giant hit from a blitzing linebacker running full speed into me and just try to slow him down.
Wow, flat-footed.
Yeah, it's a brutal position, and these guys get mauled. Not that offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and other positions don't as well, but they're bigger bodied guys. These running backs are not as big as your Mekhi Bectons of the NFL.
So speaking of injuries, back to the Ravens. Hence why I brought this up in the first place.
Sorry to get you off on a tangent there.
Dude, I love tangents. This is fine by me. So with the Ravens and with their currently injured defense, tell me this next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Their next 8 games. Tell me who worries you that they're playing against.
All right,
home against the Colts. Yeah, you pulled them up on ESPN.
And I'm not sure that Anthony Richardson's even playing in that game because he isn't concussion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Though Gardner Minshew's not a bad backup at all.
He's been playing well. He has been playing very well. So, for the listeners, home against the Colts, at Browns,
at Steelers, at the Browns. The Browns get you. The Browns get you into rock fights though, because that defense is really good.
Oh, it is really good. But the thing is, like, I'm saying offensively, they don't concern me.
No,
like a rock fight, I think the Ravens would win though.
Yes. So I agree.
Even despite all the injuries they have already, they're going up with a weaker offense. Yeah,
but
defense.
But the Browns are injured too because Chubb's out, Conklin's out. Amari Cooper's banged up. Elijah Moore has proven nothing for Cleveland yet. And Deshaun Watson has been a bottom 5 quarterback since joining the Browns.
Yep. So you got the Steelers next in week 5. So no concerns there.
I don't think they're scoring on them.
No. I think that George Pickens has been good. And they put up some points, but not much. Like they put up
on defense.
Yeah,
their points come from their defense.
Yeah, that's probably true. Then you have the Titans, who they're a good defensive team.
I was going to say not bad defensively, and they might be a better team overall than any of us expected. But that's a London game, or that's one of the foreign games.
Yep, that's a 9:30 a.m. And they get just like the Browns, I see Titans now as another rock fight kind of team.
Yes,
Um,
that's always been Mike Vrabel's, especially since Arthur Smith left, and they don't have. Well, I'd say especially since AJ Brown left,
AJ
and they
Brown,
don't have that deep threat. Yeah, they just want to keep hitting you in the mouth over and over and over again, and
Tannehill's getting
low
older.
scoring. Yeah,
I love Tannehill. No, I'm so glad that he had success with the Titans.
I didn't like him at all in Miami, but when he first got to Tennessee with Arthur Smith, and they had him and AJ Brown had such they should have kept that thing going because they worked together very well.
Yeah, I have my gripes
really
with Tannehill.
AJ Brown just might be one of the most receiver friendly or quarterback friendly receivers in the NFL. I don't think he gets enough love.
So then you have, I say this is the only game of concern would be what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, week 7, and that's the Lions. It's also a home game. That does help because it's home game outdoors. So,
and that is, I think that's the first game that the Lions will have Jameson Williams back. So the Lions will have an over-the-top threat that they don't really have right now.
Yes.
So that'll be a fun game to watch, though.
That one I would definitely have circled in the calendar.
Yeah.
And then after that you have, so that's to me that's the only game of concern right now. And then you have the Cardinals, fine. And then the Seahawks, again, giant question mark.
West Coast coming to the East Coast.
And then you have the Browns after that.
Yeah. The Browns are never a team that I can just say, yeah, easy win because of the way that their defense plays. But it
never is, yeah.
But the Ravens can play that style of football with you.
And honestly, they're fortunately enough, their stronger opponents are the back end of their schedule because then you had your Bengals for your last time home against the Bengals again.
And they've already played them on the road.
Yep, and then you have your stretch of the Chargers, the Rams, the Jags, the 49ers, which that's a brutal slate.
Yeah,
then the Dolphins,
Christmas Eve at the Niners, and then New Year's Eve or Christmas Day at the Niners.
That's a Christmas Day. Santa's in town for that one, baby.
My God, that's
a rough
Merry Christmas. Here's 50 snaps of Nick Bosa coming down your throat.
Those are all 5 good offenses, what we've seen, at least for the first 2 weeks. And at least by then, their defense should be at least a bit healthier compared to that first slate.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you on that. It's hard for me. I don't want to say to quit the Chiefs, but as long as you have Mahomes in there, and their defense has been so much like Karlaftis has been emerging. Chris Jones is a top 5 defensive player in the NFL. Their secondary's coming together nicely. They have good young linebackers in Nick Bolton and Leo Chanel. So I'm kind of at the point right now with Burrow being hurt. I'm kind of at Chiefs until proven otherwise. And I don't think that Lions game counts as proven otherwise because they didn't have Jones, didn't have Kelsey. And, big win for the Lions. I'm not trying to discredit anything that they did. I'm just saying moving forward, and with Josh Allen turning the ball over the way that he does, and their defense, Von Miller's coming off his second ACL injury at, 35 years old or something. So is he going to be the same guy? Their secondary's full of aging veterans as well. Their offensive line has some question marks. They don't have much other than Stephon Diggs to throw the ball to. I just trust 15. As long as Mahomes is back there, I'm going to kind of be leaning Kansas City.
I say their defense has definitely impressed me. Even against the Lions, the reason that they lost again was their offense sputter because the fact that wide receivers didn't pick up the slack on their end. Holding the Lions to 21 points, to me, that's a success.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah, that
were
was a good game
they
to
were a
watch.
high scoring team last year.
That was a good
And-
opening game.
Yeah, very like you couldn't ask for a better other than Tony being Tony, but like you couldn't ask for a really good it was a dramatic game.
I
and
forgot
that's
that
what
you were
want.
referring to a player. I thought you were just watching the game with somebody named Tony and was just like yelling the whole time or something.
What is it? Who's this? Who's the Saints running back right now because they're all injured?
Tony Jones?
Tony Jones.
Yeah, Tony Jones.
His name is like insane.
His name's Tony Jones. That's not insane.
No, hold on. What was it from? Do you listen to the fantasy footballers? They had like a long name for him.
Anthony Jones? Like
No, it was like I will pull it up later for next podcast, but it was hysterical.
It better not be
All
TJ.
right.
That's a very lame nickname.
It was like 5 names in one name.
Now let's move this thing over to the NFC if you guys don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's a very similar discussion to be had as far as week 1, week 2 in the books. Dallas looked great. You can argue about the levels of competition. San Francisco's looked fantastic. Again, you can kind of knock the competition if you want to. And Philadelphia, you can say they stumbled out of the gate, but the 2-0. It might not be the prettiest 2-0.
Fly Eagles, fly,
2-0.
baby. They're coming out strong.
Is this still the Eagles' conference to lose?
With how Cowboys have been playing so far, I think so. This might be the Cowboys season. I'm not a Cowboys fan
San
by
Fran.
any means, but comparing the two of how they started the season so far, I think Cowboys have a better chance.
San Fran, baby.
That's the
I'm
boat
sorry.
that I'm
I'm
on
sorry.
right now.
San Fran, really? You as an East,
I know.
we are East Coasters, Connor. Remember that. East Coasters.
Yes, but we are also,
Exactly. No, that's the thing.
bias free.
People from San Francisco don't call it San Fran. Like dead serious. Like when the San Francisco Giants had a jersey called San Fran, they were like, "What the hell are you doing? We don't call it."
I'm not a Californian. I don't know the proper lingo for
I'm not
these
either.
teams. All I know
I'm still calling them San
is
Fran.
no. You can't root for West Coast teams as the East Coaster. Come on.
What?
No, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
What?
Can't do it.
What part of your ass did you pull that from?
The left side.
What? What?
Is there a tumor there?
No.
Was it the west side of your ass? Like what?
Yeah, the left side.
The west coast of the west coast of your ass is where that take came
Yeah,
from.
you-
All right. Well,
That's the rule. You can't do it.
good God. What? You can't. No.
Hey, that's why I'm here.
So you just
I'm here
watch
for the hot
Pac-
takes.
So do you just watch Pac like this upcoming weekend in college football is about to be a fantastic week with Pac-12 football. Are you just gonna like spit on your TV the whole time?
I'm just not going to watch it. Got better things to watch.
Oh no, you don't. I'll tell you that right now. You've better things to watch than Colorado, Oregon. No, you don't.
Go Ducks.
Oregon Duck, yes, absolutely, 100%. Although what Deion's doing at Colorado is just really fun to watch. I've enjoyed it. But getting back to the National Football League, yes, I'm with you as far as San Francisco goes. My big question mark was Purdy. And not even can he play well, because last year I thought he played exceptionally well when he was in. It was more of, I didn't think he was going to be playing this season because I thought that his, like, you know, those videos where the barbecue just falls right off the bone? I thought that was his elbow. And he had to have like Tommy John surgery, and I thought that was going to make him miss a lot more time. And they had him throwing in early July. I'm thinking that there's no way. There's not a chance that they're going to go to Sam Darnold or they're going to go to Trey Lance. Either of those are going to be fascinating to watch, but it's not going to be Brock Purdy. And lo and behold, he goes out there week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers and is lighting up a damn good defense.
When they traded Trey Lance away to Dallas, to me, that was the signal of he's going to be ready by week 3. I didn't expect him to be ready week 1, but him going out and slinging it out against for 2 games straight, looking good, doing it. Like, to me, it's completely vote of confidence of them taking the conference. But the thing is, like, so with the Cowboys, they don't get a real strong. I'm gonna say they want to go. Patriots defense is good. I'll give them that.
They carved up a good Jets defense.
They did. So they have the Cardinals and Patriots are the next 2 games for them. Cardinals, of course, they're just going to dunk on them. And then San Fran next has Giants and the Cardinals. So Cardinals are literally just getting their.
I feel like everyone good is playing the Cardinals.
I thought we don't call them San Fran.
The Giants aren't good. But anyway,
I just wanted to clarify. I was getting shit on for calling it San Fran. I thought we don't call them San Fran.
No, you were the one that was like, I don't care if we call them San Fran because I'm not from the West Coast. I wipe my ass with the West Coast or whatever you said.
Now you're just taking my shit words and making them shittier. Come on.
Yeah.
You were doing that all by yourself.
Hey, I'm here for the hot take.
You did not need my assistance, sir.
I never need assistance. I can wipe my own ass, thank you.
Yeah, but there's going to come a time where you need help with that. And I won't be there, so don't ask me.
When that day comes, you have permission to kill me. Just take me out the path.
This is taking a dark turn. Let's get back to Dallas Cowboys football.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing those games up is because week 5 is the Cowboys San Fran.
Ooh,
I'm saying it's Sunday Night Football.
I'm putting money on
whoever scheduled that one.
Ooh,
and that is in San Francisco.
I'm putting money on Cowboys. It is certainly better than
this. It's certainly better than this week's Sunday Night Football, which is Steelers Raiders.
Ooh,
terrible game for Sunday Night Football. Then again, there's not a lot of great games this week, but that might be one of the games I'm looking forward to the absolute least.
Well, do we want to take predictions? Next week, who's going to win that game? Steelers or Raiders? I almost think the Raiders might pull that one out.
I think the Raiders are going to win that game.
Is Jacoby Meyer back?
I think he's questionable.
Meyer's back. Because if he's out of concussion protocol, I would definitely say the Raiders. Because he looked real good that first game.
Yeah.
And then he got lit up. Then he got lit up by the player
Kareem Jackson.
Yeah, and he did 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the NFC, I guess. But but definitely I think San Francisco has. I think they have the inside route tonight, though. Even if they lose that game, there's no one else. I guess the Eagles and the Ravens, the only 2 games in their schedule that really concern me. Everyone else, if they lose 3 games, they're fine.
Eagles are interesting to me because Jalen Hurts does not look like the same guy. And I don't know if it's because Shane Steichen left for the Colts head coaching job and they've got a new offensive coordinator.
And defensive coordinator.
Come on now. I've got I pulled up the schedule and I forgot to mute the tab and I had a McDonald's commercial playing in my ear. I was wondering, wait, what is this?
Get that ad block, man.
Exactly. I'm going to have to. Going back to the Eagles, Hurts is interesting because he's played, I'd say, badly to start the season. He just he's not running the ball as well. I don't know if he's hurt, but he's not throwing the ball with as much confidence. There's not as many open guys, and the defense can just get gashed. I mean, Mac Jones in the second half of that game against the Pats, just Hunter Henry, boom, 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 down the middle of the field. And then Kirk Cousins, he can't do the whole, primetime Kirk didn't show up. He had 400 yards.
Yeah,
carved up.
Shocked by that one.
If they didn't have 4 fumbles, which is just sad and a disgrace to humanity, then they would have won that game handedly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fascinated by the Eagles because we didn't really see them at any point last year where it looked tough for them at all. They had one game against the Commanders in like November where, all right, maybe we see a weak spot, but that was after they started like 9-0. They're 2-0 now, and it's nowhere near as convincing as where they were at this point last season, where it seemed like almost immediately everyone went from, is Jalen Hurts the guy in Philadelphia, to, oh no, he's the guy. 100%. Not only is he the guy, but he's an MVP candidate. Put him in Hulu commercials. He is absolutely one of the faces of the league now. And it just seemed, and he, as much as I love Mahomes and he's the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes was the second best quarterback in the Super Bowl last year. Jalen Hurts outplayed him. But he hasn't been that guy to start the season. And
no,
I don't
I
know.
agree with that.
I don't know if that's something that is just working out the kinks to start the season. We got some. They don't have new offense. I guess they have a new right guard because Suomelo went to Pittsburgh, and so now Cam Jurgens is there. But the weapons are the same. New offensive coordinator. I don't know. I'm not as worried about the defense because the defense, the secondary, they had weaknesses last year too. I mean, Jonathan Gannon was their defensive coordinator, and they got gashed in the Super Bowl when Andy Reid was just calling the same plays. So it's not something that really the defense, I think they can win with that still being an issue. You have to have Hurts operating at the level that he was last year if you want to go back to the Super Bowl, though. Because Dallas and San Francisco, defensively, they're going to be juggernauts, and you need an offense that can score on a team like that.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I am actually concerned about their defense. Because the Patriots should not, Mac Jones should not look good against you. And he actually looked good against the Eagles defense
I
quite
have
well.
fears for Sunday, my friend.
Yeah, I do too. But like, I think because their defense is looking so shoddy that it gives other teams, again, their offense is not clicking on all cylinders, sadly, but it gives other teams like the window to actually put up points against them. Because I was, as someone who had a multiple shares of Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, my fantasy teams last year, they would score 24 points in the first half and then coast. And their defense was good enough to do that. They can't do that anymore, and there's a lot more pressure on those players. I'll tell you right now, I think that them playing the Buccaneers this weekend, I can see an upset. I think the Bucs look good.
I think they look good, but there's this cycle for Baker where every time you get too high on Baker, he under delivers. And I think we're coming up on that. And I just don't think the Buccaneers offensive line is going to be able to protect him in that game because the Eagles, they run deep on the defensive line, whether it's Hassan,
They do.
Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. They run deep, and I'm sure they're Derek Barnett. I don't even know if he's playing right now, but they run deep, and no matter who you have on that field, you've got to be majorly concerned about being able to protect against them. And Jalen Carter's looking like the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, it definitely is. But like, the thing is with their line, like, am I going to like Rashad White's their running back, and he's fine. He's not great or anything, but I think Baker's been I think Baker is a great complement for Godwin and Evans because he can sling it, and he has been slinging it. And I think that they're going to do for Rashad White, they're just going through screen passes to him. They're running out the ball a few times up the middle, but it won't do much. Like they won't win that. But I think their pass blocking will be good enough for give Baker that much time to make a play. And the fact that they can't stop a team from making a play right now, that is the Eagles, it concerns me. And it's in Tampa on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, no, Baker and Evans have a good, because Baker's just willing to say, you know what, I'm throwing this up and giving my guy a chance. And Mike Evans has always been he's got the size, the speed to be able to go up and get that ball. And Tampa, he's fantastic. I have a tough time buying Tampa all the way. I think that the fall is kind of coming, and I think Baker's going to get knocked around a bit on Monday night, which, by the way, how do you guys feel about the Monday night double headers? Because we got another one coming up week 3.
Okay.
I just saw that I
was going to ask you about that. Since when was that a thing? Has that happened in previous seasons? They started that about
2 years ago, I want to say. They did it. Well, they used to do it a lot for the first week of the season. They would have a Monday night doubleheader, and they would have a game at like 7 o'clock, and then they have a game at like 10:15 that no one would watch because they would always put like not the A team, but like the Q team broadcasting that game, and no one would watch it. But as of late, they've gone away from that, and they've done the last 2, maybe 3 seasons where they've gone and it's just been a 7 o'clock game on one channel and an 8 o'clock game on another channel, and I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
And they do it, I want to say 4 times this year.
No, it's more than that now. I don't know if you guys saw this as of the 2 days ago. This is from CNN. ABC adds 10 more Monday Night Football games to help plug the hole left by Hollywood strikes. So the writer's strike is they're even adding more games to the slate. So
they're almost that might be ending soon, by the way.
Well, this already has been officially done.
Okay.
So here are the games ABC just added to its schedule, which will be also aired on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, kickoffs at 8:15 p.m. Seahawks at Giants, Packers at Raiders, Cowboys at Chargers, 49ers at Vikings, Raiders at Lions, Chargers at Jets, Broncos at Bills, Bears at Vikings, Bengals at Jaguars, and Chiefs at Patriots. So pretty much from October 2nd to December 18th, we have a doubleheader Monday night game.
Okay. I don't think I have any problems with that. I kind of like that, actually.
Yeah, so it'll be on ABC and ESPN.
There's a higher chance I might actually get to watch them.
Yeah, not having them at like 10:15 is nice. Because that was just like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. And especially myself with having a child in the house, having the night games, I can actually watch them.
Yeah.
It's daytime, it's Bluey. Bluey runs my life during the daytime.
Well, okay, so as someone who does not plan to have kids for a bit, quite a while, the hell is Bluey?
Bluey is a magical show. It is a Australian-made show about basically these 2 dogs. One of them is Bluey. They're a family of dogs, and it's just basically it's like almost like a 90s show. Like, you know how back in the 90s, all the shows were like family, like life lessons every episode. Like, it was actual good TV. It's basically that, but animated and about a family of dogs. And it's just them going on random adventures and have little life lessons sprinkled throughout every episode. And it's one of those shows that's entertaining for kids, but as an adult watching it, you can appreciate it. And it's actually
so it's
a lot of humor in there. A lot of humor in it is actually tailored towards adults. So it's kind of like the running joke with like all parents that watch Bluey, that the parents enjoy watching it more than the kids. but
Huh. All right.
yeah,
Well,
my daughter loves watching Bluey. Every time the song comes on, pure focus. It's almost like, when Jets is introduced to Mitchell, just focus right in on it. Same with her.
your daughter starts cursing profusely?
Yes.
Is that what happens? Because if so, you might want to
She
turn the
does
TV
jump
off
up and down and yell at the TV. We don't know what she's yelling at.
see that?
If she
I know
takes
that.
after myself, it probably is cursing because I swear like a sailor. So I'm sure her first words will probably be some sort of bad word, and
Yeah.
I'll be proud and upset at the same time.
All right. Well, do you guys have any big takeaways from week 1 that we haven't got to? I think we touched on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. My big takeaways is Tua is still healthy and God help the Jets.
I will say this. The NFC South as a whole, though, is looking fun.
As someone who is down here in the Carolinas, I know, Jersey nerds and all that, but I am deep rooted in North Carolina.
I'm in New York.
Vibes aren't great here. And I'm not a Panthers fan, nor am I a Panthers hater, but vibes aren't great. And the team looks terrible to start the year, and Bryce Young's already hurt. So it's not great.
Well, the other 3 teams looking great. That's what I'm getting at, is that we have 3 2-0 teams starting out, with the Falcons with Bijan, who is fantastic.
And the defense is good too.
Their defense has definitely surprised me. The Saints, their defense is also stout. They get Kamara back in, was it one more game?
One more game. One after Tony Jones gets this game, then they get Kamara.
And then, I think Derek Carr has been fine for them, and Olave is doing Olave things. And
he's
the
a
Bucs
stud.
have been looking good. Yeah, I love Olave so much. Who would have thought the NFC South would have started 3 teams 2-0 to start the season? So,
well, I will say that they've been playing each other. At least the Saints. The Panthers have played 2 divisional games. The Saints have played the Panthers. The Falcons have played, I guess they've played out of division. So just ignore everything I said. They haven't all been playing each other.
Because the Saints had a good win against with the Titans. And then
I don't know if it was a good win. It was just because Tannehill looked horrible in that game, and there were some really weird ref calls. Like the Titans had a fumble return for a touchdown, but the ref blew his whistle, so it didn't count. And
that's true.
It was an odd game.
But the thing is, like, when you have, again, what you mentioned before with the Titans, when you have a gridiron match that Titan wants to play football, that stuff's going to happen all the time.
Yeah.
And they still went in there, and they went in there and beat them when they needed to. Yeah, but they Packers are next up for the Saints, which I think will be a very fun game.
Yeah, so. The one that I'm looking forward to most for week 3 is Falcons Lions. That's the one that I have, and it's not a great week of games in the NFL, but Falcons Lions are just 2 fascinating teams to me. They're wild cards. We talk about Dallas, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and then that next tier of teams, you've got teams like Atlanta and Detroit that maybe they can do something, maybe they fall off, but they'll be fun to watch nonetheless.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Chargers Vikings would be a fun one too.
That is a loser goes home type game.
Yeah,
that if much. The Vikings might. I don't think they actually trade Cousins if they lose that game, but people will be talking about that being a possibility if they do lose it.
They've already been
and
talking
the Chargers,
about it, and I think it might happen.
And the Chargers, it's who gets left on the tarmac, Brandon Staley or Kirk Cousins? It's got to be one of those two guys. But it's an interesting, fun. It'll be a fun game. No defense is going to be played. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And then and then the Rams are looking very interesting as well. They were the other team I don't have a vibe on. I did not see them playing this well.
No, because they've been just kind of either they've had the best players in the league at like 3 or 4 positions, and then the rest of their team is just trash. And they've come out looking pretty good. I mean, Stafford's not a bad quarterback whatsoever. And
he looks healthy.
That's the thing. Yeah. Keep him healthy, keep him upright, and you're going to be in games. I still don't think the Rams are a team that wins more than 6 or 7 games this year. But they'll be in a lot of games. They won't get blown out much.
Yeah.
Unless Stafford gets hurt, and then the season can fall apart.
Yep, sayonara.
All right, well, I think that about wraps things up for the opening episode of the weekly recess. Guys, I'm looking forward to doing this with you. I know we've got a lot more coming up. Tommy, I don't know if you want to plug some things that we've got coming down the pipe.
Yeah, we've been working on a lot of stuff, but coming up in the next 2 weeks now, I think from now, is the Stranger Nerds podcast, where we're going to be looking at the Netflix hit Stranger Things, which I'm really looking forward to because I'm not the biggest sports guy, but I love sports. But I cannot talk about it like you and Connor can. But Stranger Things, that's my game. I'm all for it. I'm excited. I believe it's going to be Connor and Nick's first time watching it, so it'll be an entertaining podcast for sure.
Wait, really? You haven't seen it before?
I've seen snippets. I have never actually sat down and watched it. I've seen parts of season 4 for God's sakes, but I know things of it. No, because I am a low-key D&D nerd, so like I know things in pop culture references.
Okay, so you kind of get to see it. I don't want to say removed from the hype, but as someone that watched the first season right before the second season was about to come out and had a year of people telling me like, you have to watch this, you have to watch this, you have to watch this. And I thought it lived up to that hype. You've been hearing it for years, but it hasn't been quite as consistent of like, hey, watch this, because they've been long periods between seasons.
And we're right in the middle of another one of those long periods. And I think it's going to go on.
Aren't they still filming? Or
they were
filming and then the strike happened.
Because the writer's strike, everything kind of got delayed. So I believe they're still... I believe they started recording, but I could be wrong. But it's going to be at least probably until the end of next year that we'll get the final season.
Yeah, the Stranger Things are just going to be how much older they all are from the... by the time we see... it might be 9 years between the beginning of the show and the end of the show.
Yeah. That is wild to think
Which is crazy.
But yeah, so that's what's coming down the pipeline. So for all those listening out there, check out Stranger Nerds podcast, because by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be close to that and it might already be out.
Well, I'm looking forward to rewatching some Stranger Things and talking about that, as well as some football with you guys. So thanks for tuning in for the first episode of Weekly Recess for Tommy Grant and Connor VanDemark. I'm Mitchell Lea signing off. Have a fantastic day, and we will talk to you again soon.